Hi, this is Stray Passer, and this is going to be my best movies of 2013. I'm going to try to go through this quick because I got 14 movies on my list, okay, in no particular order. I didn't want to do it. Anyway, first movie I'm going to pick is a movie called Side Effects. This movie starred, directed by Steven Soderbergh. It starred Rooney Marty, Jude Law, Channing Tatum, and Catherine Zeta-Jones, basically about the medical profession and the effects of this certain drug on people, and it was really, really good directed, excellently acted. Rooney Marty, special standout. Jude Law, of course, was good, and even Catherine Zeta-Jones was really good in this medical drama, and the movie was really, really good. It really surprised me how good it was. Okay, and I think it's one of the best movies this year. Definitely highly recommend that. Now, the next movie is a movie I talked about before. I reviewed on my channel. It's called Disconnect. You starred Jason Bateman, Paula Patton, Frank Grillo, Andrea Riseborough, Paula Patton. I think I said her name before. Anyway, it's about how people are connected by technology, but really are separated. It's one of the best movies I've seen this year. Great acting, great direction, excellently written, and it had 4 separate stories and that are all connected, and they all kind of link together, and they all kind of come together in interesting ways, and a really good drama, and definitely very, very underrated, I think. Okay, I don't think it made that much money, but it was one of the best movies I've seen this year. Excellent direction, excellently acted, and great direction. Next movie, of course, is Star Trek Into Darkness on my list. I absolutely love this movie. I know people bitch and say, "Oh, well, this is just a rehash of Wrath of Khan," but no, I like the way it played out. Benedict Cumberbatch, of course, was excellent as Khan, and I love the acting, and they kind of made you believe, kind of bonded Spock and Kirk in this movie, so you believe their friendship going forward. And I love that chase at the end with Spock and Khan. I thought that was excellent. Okay, so one of the best sci-fi movies this year. Next movie, of course, Man of Steel. Of course, one of my favorites. Of course, I love Henry Cavill's portrayal of Clark Kent / Superman, and I loved the way they told the story. They didn't tell it like the normal fashion. They started off on Krypton, and they kind of told Clark's story in flashback, and I thought it was really good. And I love the fights. I know people say, "Oh, fights went on too long." No, they didn't. They went on just long enough, good enough for me. I love action. I love violence. I love seeing Superman fight somebody else that can fight him back. And those fights between him and Zod and him and the woman, which I can't remember her name right now, her and the big guy, I thought were great. I love those. I absolutely love those fights. And I'm looking forward to the sequel, which should be great with Batman and Wonder Woman in it. And of course, now my next movie on my list is The Conjuring. I absolutely love The Conjuring. That was my best horror movies of the year. I didn't see it when it initially came out. I think I saw it like a month later, but I absolutely loved it. Of course, directed by James Wan, who does the Insidious movies. And this movie was actually one of the best, about this family that moves into this farm thing, and there's a spirit there, and they basically get haunted, and it's so good and scary and believable without showing any blood. I think there's a little bit of blood towards the end, but it was just really well acted by Lily Taylor, Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, Ron Livingston, and the little young girls, actresses that played their daughters. I thought it was really, really good, and it's really a nice, legitimately scary, old-fashioned horror movie, which I absolutely really loved. And that Annabelle doll was creepy as hell. Okay, and the next movie on my list is The Prisoners. Starring Hugh Jackman, of course, Jake Gyllenhaal, Maria Bello, Terrence Howard, and basically about these two families that live together, and their 2 young daughters go missing, and Hugh Jackman plays a out-of-control father who does what he has, basically does crazy things to try to get his daughter back, get the young daughters back, and it's really well acted by Hugh Jackman. I think Hugh Jackman should get nominated for this part because he was really good in the movie. Should get nominated, I think, for Best Picture. It's one of the this realistic takes on it, and Jake Gyllenhaal I thought was really good as well. One of the best movies I've seen this year, no doubt. Really intense. And the next movie on my list is Gravity. I absolutely loved Gravity. Basically about these 2, astronauts getting stranded up in space, and the way they shot it, it makes you actually feel that you were in there. I saw it in 3D, and it made you feel like you were out there with them, and it was really, really good. Especially Sandra Bullock, I thought was really good in this movie. Real emotional, and you cared for her character and stuff. And I thought George Clooney was decent. too, because he's in the movie a little bit, not that much, but I thought he did real well. And like I said, I love the way it was shot, and just you felt the emotions, especially for Sandra Bullock's character. So, and I love the way it was shot visually. It's one of the most beautiful looking movies ever. Okay, so Gravity. Next movie on my list is 12 Years a Slave. It's directed by Steve McQueen, British director, starring Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think I said his name right, Michael Fassbender, Brad Pitt, Benedict Cumberbatch, about slave, a free man that got sold into slavery and his 12-year odyssey to get back to being, to try to get back to his family. And it was really, really well acted. Michael Fassbender was a son of a bitch, so he played this part real well. Chiwetel Ejiofor, of course, was really good as the man who basically got kidnapped in Shanghai and trying to find his way back. And that scene where he's hanging all day long was just chilling to watch. And like I said, this is one of the best movies that I've seen this year. And again, Michael Fassbender should be nominated, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and then Steve McQueen also should be nominated for Best Director. The next movie on my list is The Hunger Games. Okay, Catching Fire. Of course, this is Jennifer Lawrence, the sequel to The Hunger Games, and this one was really good because it spent more time, I guess, with Jennifer Lawrence and Liam Hemsworth's character. And in this movie, I actually said in my review of it, that actually you buy the triangle. They tried to kind of sell the triangle, but it didn't kind of work because they didn't spend enough time, in my opinion, on Liam Hemsworth's character in Hunger Games. But in this movie, they did spend more time in it, so you actually feel it, and Jennifer Lawrence actually sold that she's kind of conflicted between the two guys in this movie. And this, because I think up until this point, I always thought that she always just had feelings for Liam Hemsworth's character rather than Josh Hutcherson's character. She was just playing a role. But in this movie, I think there's a scene, for those who've seen the movie, where she actually tells him, I think he says something about sacrificing himself, and he said like no one would care, and then she tells him basically I would care, and then she kisses him, and it really convinces me that she does legitimately has feelings for him. So I can actually buy the triangle, and then plus of course the Hunger Games, and of course the way it ended, of course, was absolutely fantastic and came out of nowhere. So it actually makes you look forward to the next part. And just wanted no shaky cam in this one, and I like the supporting characters in this. Jenna Malone I thought was really great, and also the guy who had the spear, the Aquaman spear. I forgot his name, but he was really good as well too. Okay, the next movie on the list is American Hustle, directed by David Russell, starring Kristen Bale, Amy Adams, Jennifer Lawrence, Jeremy Renner, what's his name, Bradley Cooper. Just a really, really well acted movie about con artists, and it was funny, good acting in it, and you cared about the characters, and you wanted to smack some other characters in the movie. So I think the movie did its job. I think again Kristen Bale will be nominated. I think Amy Adams and Jennifer Lawrence and David Russell should all get nominated. I think the movie was that good. Next movie on my list is The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug. I think this one was, an improvement over the first one, even though I liked the first one. I think this one we had more action and more things going. The barrel thing was great, and I loved that. I don't care that Evangeline Lilly's character wasn't in the book. I thought she was good in the movie. Okay, excuse me. I loved the way they tried to tie it into the Lord of the Rings movies, and like I said, I liked it. Like I said, and the 4K thing doesn't bother me. Saw it in 3D. Okay, I love the way it ended. Okay, it makes you and I love Benedict Cumberbatch as the dragon Smaug. He was deliciously evil, and I love the way he sounded and the way he looked. Okay, in this movie, and I like you had the more confident Bobo Baggins in this movie, and definitely one of the best movies. Like I said, Peter Jackson was born to make movies about Middle Earth, so no problems with that. Of course, The Wolf of Wall Street, which I saw last week. Absolutely, Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, gives his probably best performance. And like I said in my review of it, the speeches he makes and the way he kind of draws you in when he does those speeches. Of course, it had debauchery and it had the naked girls, the strippers, coke off their ass, and all that other stuff. And basically him talking to the camera and I thought him and Jonah Hill were outstanding in this movie. And basically, it's about the debauchery and the rise and fall of this guy Jordan Belfort. And I thought Martin Scorsese, it was 3 hours, but it was never boring. It never took you out of it. movie, and I love that scene where he took those lewds and it finally kicked in, and he had to get from the country club back to his house. That scene alone was classic. Okay, and I love the Popeye reference. For those who've seen the movie, they know what I'm talking about. Okay, anyway, I think Leonardo should get nominated. I know it's a tough field, but he was that good. I think, like I said, every speech he made, we had to draw you in and get you pumped up and get the other stockbrokers pumped you up. He got you pumped up. He was that good in the movie. And also, next movie on my list is an animated movie, The Croods, which I wanted to see in a theater, but I didn't get a chance to see it. But I saw it when it came out on video. And it's just absolutely fantastic. First of all, it's absolutely visually beautiful. And I love the story about this cave family and how the father was overly protective, didn't want his family to go out, and then they meet, I guess the family was Neanderthals, and then they meet, I guess, a Cro-Magnon man, played by Ryan Reynolds, who's probably his best role this year, even though it was animated. And they have to travel, to get to, the different place because, the world's supposed to be ending. And it's visually, and it was funny, visually beautiful, and a great story. And I love the voice work in it. And definitely they're going to make a sequel to this movie. And I look forward to it because this movie is one of the best animated movies I've seen in a while, and absolutely loved it. Okay, now the last movie on my list is the last movie that I saw. It's a movie called Her, written and directed by Spike Jonze, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Amy Adams, and Scarlett Johansson. Basically about a guy who falls in love with an AI operating system, and it's totally believable the way Spike Jonze. It's supposed to take place in the near-distant future, and it was absolutely a beautiful film. One of the best romantic movies that I've seen this year. And like I said, Joaquin Phoenix was great. He totally sells the part of the lonely guy who's going through a divorce, who's basically lonely, and then he gets this operating system which starts to evolve, and they both basically start to fall in love with each other. And it has a lot of ups and downs in their relationship, and it's really well done. And like I said, the way it's shot too is visually it's beautiful too. And then, like I said, the interaction between Amy Adams and not Amy Adams, Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson was great. And like I said, I found out later that Scarlett Johansson had to dub over another actress's. Samantha Morton originally did the lines. So it's basically she had to do the lines in a phone booth, and I thought she was really, really good, and I hope she gets nominated. I know Academy might feel funny because her contribution is just voice work. She's not on the screen, but you totally believe her emotions in this movie, and definitely one of the best movies of the year. And I think she should get nominated for Best Actress. That's how good I think she was with her voice work in this movie. Definitely recommend it. So that's my top 14 of best movies of the year. Let me know if you've seen any of those. What do you think? Feel free to leave comments down below. This is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.